I live in Horsham and I have 2 children and they're now both at university. My daughter's studying primary education and my son sports journalism. My daughter's just finished her 3rd year and she's got 1 more year to go, and my son's just finished his 1st year. I think my initial fears when they went off, I think primarily it was that they would make friends, that they would feel settled. I remember with my son particularly, actually, the first week, just not wanting to, butt in, but being desperate to know if he'd made some friends and was going out. And then when he first FaceTimed us and lots of people were popping in and out, and clearly he was settling really well. That was great. And then I found I went on to the next parental level, which is 2 or 3 weeks later. So it's great that you're settling and you've got good friends, but are you doing any work? Yeah. So interestingly, when they were looking at universities and the whole question of how close to home came up, neither of them wanted to be very close to home. I think they were worried that if they didn't settle, if it was too easy to come home, that temptation would be quite strong. But then when we went round and did some visits, they also rejected the north of Wales and the north of England as being a bit too far away. So we've ended up with a compromise of one's about 1 hour and 40 minutes away and the other one about 2.5 hours. And that works really well. I think they feel they've got their own place and they're not near home, but we can do the drop-offs and pick-ups in a day, which is definitely a bonus. The empty nest syndrome is slightly easier to adjust to when it's university students that go. You have these few weeks where they're away, but then they come home for quite extended periods of time. So I think we try and kind of live life in sort of 2 seasons, really. So when they're away, it's relatively calm and relatively tidy. And then when they come back, it's, the bustle and banter returns with the washing. And I think the other thing for us that's worked really well is a family WhatsApp group. So that's a really non-intrusive way of keeping in touch. They haven't been overly homesick, either of them. I think they've both had moments. And I did talk to them both about homesickness and how best to manage that. And they both said, and my own feeling as well, is if you can work through it, it's better not to rush home the minute you feel homesick. Trying to get involved with some activities, join a society where maybe you meet some like-minded people, so you feel less isolated and you have a bit more sense of belonging. And I think as a parent of a student, one of the challenges is loving and supporting them from a distance, but not rushing to be by their side every time they have a crisis. So budgeting, yes, that's a new challenge, isn't it, for a young adult? We tried with both of them to sit down and work out a weekly budget. So we looked at what they were going to receive, what their rent contribution was going to be, what we were able to help with, and then set them a weekly budget, because that felt like it was more manageable. And then occasionally, obviously, they need a little bit of extra help, or a lot of it's to do with, money not coming in as quickly as it sometimes has to go out, and panicking about going overdrawn, but encouraging them that actually as long as they're within their budget, it will all come right at the end of term. It has been overall really a really positive experience, seeing them flourish, but also when they come home, talking to them about all sorts of different things that we perhaps wouldn't have talked about before, or they wouldn't have been as informed about before. And so overall, I think it's been a really positive season for all of us.